Welcome to Marketing's Marketing, a podcast where we talk about marketing strategies, marketing and strategies to help grow your business. I'm Nate Wan with Product Marketing Leader, and I'm here with Sal.
Sal Beancor, also with Product Marketing Leader and Technology Leader Companies. How's it going, my man?
It's going good. How are you?
Doing good.
Rearranging my windows real quick. And see my notes.
The joys of recording stuff remotely and being able to have access to your computer as you record.
I know.
How's your weekend? You do anything fun and exciting?
Oh, great question. That always stumps me. Oh yeah, we had I have two boys in Cub Scouts, and we had our Pinewood Derby race. Are you familiar with that? Oh,
nice. Yep, I did Boy Scouts growing up. That's awesome.
Nice. Yep. They didn't do great because I didn't. So my boys are 5 and 7, so they didn't really help too much with the cars. They're supposed to, but
so Dad's effort wasn't too high over the top then.
No, I was busy last weekend, and I left it to last minute as I always do, and it did not do well in the building of the cars. But they painted them and they look great. They did okay, but my older son, his car won Best in Show, which
nice.
It's not like a placement thing, but it's a Best in Show moves on to the district race. So I'm like, oh, cool. I'm like, nice. Got him a win there.
That's awesome.
Yep. How about you? I heard you went
good
somewhere.
Weekend. I did, yeah. So we took. Typically, we record these on Monday, but we're recording it on Tuesday because I took the long weekend in Washington, D.C. Enjoyed. My family's a big ice hockey fan, and our favorite team is the Washington Capitals. So we went down and watched the hockey game on Sunday and got to see our Capitals beat up on the Seattle Kraken. So that was a good day. But I took Monday and enjoyed some nice warm weather in the city and spent some time checking out the National Zoo there. So I don't know if you've ever been down, but one of the Smithsonian's attractions. So there's no cost other than parking. But if you can find parking in the city. But I think I walked about 12,000 steps yesterday, and over half of them was carrying a 50+ pound child. So I think it should count for double, but had a blast. They have some really cool animals there. I could be wrong, but I think they're the only zoo in the state that has pandas at it. So
in the state?
I could be wrong there in the States.
In the United States. Okay.
Yeah. I know China has them, maybe like San Diego Zoo, but so for sure the East Coast, but maybe the entire United States.
Yeah.
A couple other like pretty heavily endangered animals as well. So animals are a fun thing for me to geek out about and enjoy. So it was fun getting to hang out with my boys, the wife, get away for the weekend, check out the zoo, and enjoy some warmer weather now that spring is around the corner here.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be such a dad thing to say, but like, there's nothing like zoo with the family. It's like it's amazing.
Such a dad thing.
It's such a dad thing to say. But no, the National Mall there, like it was like 9 museums, like all the way.
I can't remember how many, but there's a bunch. All of them free. You could spend like an entire week just trying to go through all of them. It's on the to-do list. So I grew up not far from DC. I have family just outside of DC. So I've done multiple of the Smithsonian's multiple times. But my wife has never done any of them. My kids 6 and 4 have not done any of them yet. So it's on our list to get back down and slowly work through all of them.
Yeah, no, same here. I mean, my kids love zoos. We've hit a few zoos across the Eastern Seaboard, but I don't think we didn't do DC yet. So someday,
it's on the list.
It's on the list. Let's get on to marketing news. I got 2 things for us today. Did I delete the other thing? Hang on.
It may just be one thing for the day.
Oh, how did that get deleted? That's weird. Anyways, all right. Well, we'll start with the first thing. It's kind of a not exciting thing, but tariffs are coming. and
Woohoo.
I think we've all heard of tariffs. And just to spit out some percentages here and how that relates to marketing. You know, I think there are plenty of concerns with the tariffs coming out because prices will go up and inflation will go up, and either that happens or something else happens. So 94% of U.S. advertisers, this was taken out of a poll of 100 people, 94 people in this test are concerned about the impact that tariffs will have on ad spend. 45% of those people are planning to reduce ad spend. So money their companies will spend on marketing people like us, the things that we do.
That kind of makes sense because what your options are, you eat the cost of the additional percentages on your products, or you pass that on along to your customers.
Yeah.
And I don't think people are going to want to, depending on what the product is, that people may not want to spend that percentage more to receive it. So fear of losing customers may mean eating those costs, which may mean cutting other things to make up for their end line. And sadly, marketing gets cut too quick. But no, that makes sense. We'll see at the time of recording this what tariffs are supposed to go into effect in the United States on April 1, I think.
Is that, and listen, I don't know what's been postponed either, because there's been like,
so
we're going to do it. And then,
it was going to be like last week. They were supposed to go in place, and then they've now got postponed till April 1st, I think. So we'll see if it actually if government follows through and makes that happen or not. But
yeah,
if it happens, it's a ripple effect everywhere. So marketing as well. But
yeah, and I don't think most companies will take an internal hit on that type of stuff. So we'll see.
Especially in like the gear world, as I'm holding a microphone in my hand, like all that comes from most of it comes from China, at least outside of the United States. A lot of that does not come internally. So even just in content creation, needing the equipment to make things, like that's going to get price hiked.
Just the components, the chips. That your microphone has a built-in interface. So like computer chips.
Speaking of chips, like vehicles and their chips, like I think that's the one big tweak. I think that's why it got postponed, was auto manufacturers were like, this is going to be the biggest hit. So I think they're working in like different iterations where like auto manufacturers have like grace and for different things that they're importing and whatnot. But we could dive into the weeds of that, but I may not need to.
We'll plan on getting a mortgage for my next vehicle. Pretty much.
Yep.
The next point, it seems like there's a trend in marketing. It seems like, with Super Bowl ads, stuff like that, it seems like there's a trend for people to push on entertainment marketing. So like streaming platforms like Netflix and Amazon. Did you ever watch a show and me and my wife laugh at this every time we're watching a show, and it's like chase scene. They get in a car. Okay, hang on, let me get out of this parallel parking spot. And then the camera pot like goes to like the console of the car with the Ford logo there. And then it like, the person like lets go of the wheel like this. It's like, okay, let's chase the bad guy now.
The in-show marketing placement. Yeah,
it was so funny whenever we saw it. It's just like, oh, okay, all right, here's an ad now. Like, or like,
they're definitely popping up more and more. It's funny to see those where I felt like it was a special, like almost Easter egg when we were younger, and it was like, it's like, oh, there's a Coke can on that table in the show,
and they didn't cover it.
Like, just exactly. And now it's like very blatant. Like Walking Dead, all the cars that they used were like Kias or whoever it was who sponsored it. So like, I feel like that was the early stages where like the only cars you saw were Kias or the working ones were Kias. And now it's just becoming more and more common to see these bigger brands take over and have these bits and pieces. This isn't what you're getting at, but what I love with streaming platforms, because I don't pay for any of them for the ad-free version.
Yeah.
I have the ones with ads, and my favorite, I know HBO Max does it where like every now and again, if it's a newer series, they'll have like State Farm or AT&T sponsor an episode, and it'll be like, watch 2 commercials or 3 commercials of AT&T right at the top, and it's like, hey, AT&T sponsored ad-free episode for you, and you watch like 2 of their ads right up top, and then you don't have any for the entire
That's
show.
nice.
And it's like, AT&T is moving up my favorite list because they decided
nice.
to cram everything in at the beginning.
That's a great idea, because that's super annoying, because
Same with State Farm.
Yeah.
Like the first ad is just like, hey, Jake laying on a couch watching TV, and it's like, oh, this commercial free episode is brought to you by State Farm, and then it's the State Farm ad, and then it's like, hey, enjoy your commercial free episode sponsored by State Farm, and it's like, heck yeah, State Farm, you go.
That's a great idea. Yeah, and it works. It stands out. Like that's what we're trying to do, right? And
exactly.
Yeah, because we dropped Paramount Plus because we have like a Walmart subscription, and
gotcha,
they offer the apparently it's a level of subscription, but it has ads with Paramount Plus.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So, but yeah, it's super annoying. I haven't experienced that yet, which would be nice.
Yeah. Why don't you introduce what we're going into? I'm listening. I'm just plugging my computer in because it's actually about to die.
It's going to die. All right, cool. So we're going to kind of do a follow-up on our episode 2 episodes ago, because our last episode was kind of like hey, let's have fun. Let's just kind of list off the products that we can use, the tools that we can use that will help us in content creation. The episode before that, we talked about building your audience using LinkedIn and using other stuff. Just to do a quick recap, we kind of went over how to utilize LinkedIn as your primary platform for audience building. We can drive traffic from LinkedIn to your website, which is another big thing. We talked about how important it is to have a website. Connecting with key decision makers like CXOs, owners, presidents, people who have the decision power. The importance of personal LinkedIn profiles, social listening and soft touches like commenting, liking, reposting, stuff like that, just being active, and the reciprocal nature of connections. Then building your ideal customer profile, and then just the tedious nature of being consistent with engagement. Yes, I read that off in a list because I made the list beforehand. So today we're going to kind of expand on that a little more, and we're going to focus on connection strategies. Now, this is we're going to probably heavily focus on LinkedIn. But to kind of dive into it, the first thing we should talk about is kind of like what we should see beyond the initial connection, because we talked about the soft touches, the social listening, which is your commenting, you're being active in your LinkedIn profile, whatever. But so 2 more tips to kind of add on to this is making sure that you're looking at things like when you connect with someone, or when you add yourself to a group or a page, look at the also viewed section to make sure that you're staying within your industry and within the subject that you want to talk about, because that's going to be important with what we're going to talk about a little bit later. But like staying within that ecosystem based off of what other people in your same ecosystem are looking at. And then also a big one that we probably didn't mention before is LinkedIn groups. There's pages and groups. So groups, you can join groups, and it's just full of people who are aligned with the things you're looking for. So
no, absolutely. Those are both great. Like, so the first one, like looking at things your connections have also viewed, or even the suggestions that LinkedIn gives you, that it's almost like a tailored dating platform as you're trying to connect. It knows like, hey, you and this person have similarities here. Like, hey, this person's also here, and here, and here. It's like, oh, that makes sense to reach out to connect with them, and to target them. So it's that's how I get most of my connections. And that's how I've created most of mine, is building up some initial connections. Actually, a lot of it was as I got into this, the software channel that we work a lot in is Acumatica. And as I started it was connecting with other coworkers and then looking at their connections and getting the suggestions from looking at their pages, who they're connected with, and then working through our coworkers. And so that was huge, and wouldn't be able to have any of the traction that I have now without that first initial step and leaning heavily on those suggested connections that LinkedIn popped up.
Yeah. And it's huge. Like, we're going to find out in today's podcast, really, like, LinkedIn's there to help. They really are. And in some of the ways they do things, it might not seem like it, but like the reason they do it is because they're there to help you build your connection, build your networking. But yeah, basically LinkedIn groups, participating in those conversations, and just kind of growing natural relationships there.
Yeah, groups. That's something I've read about, I've looked into, but I don't think I'm actually a part of any groups on LinkedIn currently myself. Have you had any experience there?
Nope. Do as I say, not as I do. Yeah, I should probably join some groups that, because it is powerful. You join the groups and you start talking, join the conversations, and then you're in your ecosystem and you can start building connections that way. So that's one thing.
Yeah, there's a couple groups that I've been looking at that's focused around Acumatica, and I haven't took the dive into those yet, because whenever I've got to start looking at LinkedIn differently, because I feel like people look at LinkedIn as two different things. They look at it as either just like a social media platform, or just as like an online resume kind of place. And I don't think it's either of those. It's a connection networking tool, where there's some social media aspects to it. Yes, there's the job aspect of where you can have your online resume and your job history there, but it's really used for networking, connecting, and for on the personal side, I need to get better about like engaging with that, and not just posting, but like actually engaging with the and even doing so in groups. So that's been why I haven't started in any of these groups yet, is just because I know like I am just going to take in at best, and not actually engage and connect with others through it yet. So, yeah, it could be helpful to get connected in one, but to get the most value is actually like being part of the conversations, posting in the groups, commenting in the groups.
Yeah.
And it's super similar to Facebook groups and such. Like, the value is whenever you engage and connect. And LinkedIn, from what I've read, is very similar to that, where you need to have boots on the ground interacting with other people in there through comments and posts. So
yeah, exactly. And to be clear, not pushing your brand and not pushing your offerings in those groups. Like the point of doing something
being
like
a
this
person
is being a person, being relationable, being approachable, and just joining the community so that you're there and that you can learn and also participate in things. For example, we talked about DaVinci Resolve Studio last week in the tools that we use. I'm constantly on that subreddit. Because I it's so fun for me for someone to be like, hey, how do I do this? And then you do this, you use this node and do that. It's fun for me. So like, in being active in that community, it's great, because I've met a few people that have helped me with some issues in DaVinci Resolve. So that's cool. It's just that's what they're there for. Next portion here, we're going to talk about utilizing third-party tools. Now this is we're going to be a little vague on this one, because this is something that we talk about in one of our offerings, go to market as a strategy, go to market as a service. So basically, what we're doing on this podcast, but like our one-on-one service, is using these third-party tools. But the things that you can do with LinkedIn, and you can use these tools you can do things like you can create searches, and you can save those searches based off of the industry that you're in, the titles you're looking for, and other things that you can search for. Like, like we talked about who you're trying to go after, you can create a search and save it that way, and then have that search so you can always search the same thing. You can create lists for leads in some tools, so that you can focus who you're engaging with. And then there's also just you can refine and filter the searches that you're putting into. So you have these searches, you save them, you save those onto a list, and then within that list you refine who you're trying to get to. So just a way that you can't really do this natively in LinkedIn. Like and with the amount that you need to do today, as we're living, is just a little too much for us to handle, especially with a full-time job, and if we're a one-person marketing team. So just some tips: do some research, look into some third-party tools, and try and find something that would help you in your LinkedIn adventures.
Yeah, it kind of baffles me a little bit how little some of these third-party tools are things that I would assume LinkedIn could do on its own. And it's simple things that help you automate your networking and your and helping grow your audience and your connections. And I feel like something super simple. And even recently, as the one and a half-ish marketing team that I am here, I've been looking in more and more for us internally, and it's just it just kind of makes sense with the automations that it has and the ways that you're able to build and curate an audience library. It's just like, oh, that's exactly what I need next for where we're at as in our marketing efforts as a company. And yeah, we have one that we use that we coach our clients who are going through our GT Mass service. We coach them up with and have found a lot of success with. Again, I think I said this in a previous episode, John's winning me over, man. he as I work through his material and such more, I'm like, he's right again. What? I should stop being surprised with how often I think he's right.
Yeah.
I love you, John, if you're listening to this.
he's got the experience, and he's also a salesperson, so he knows how to talk, and he knows how to get you to like him, which is awesome. So let's get into some little more meat stuff. Sal, I have a quiz for you because we're going to start talking about the importance of being consistent in your daily connection efforts. So, as we've said a million times now, you got to be consistent. It's easy, but you got to be consistent with LinkedIn. But what does LinkedIn limit on you on? So first question, and this is for basic accounts. How many invitations can you send a week?
On basic personal accounts?
Yeah.
Is it 100?
It is 100.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yes. This is my fear whenever I saw the outline from you on this. It was like, it was just labeled as Sal quiz. And it's like, wow, we're going to really see how little Sal actually knows about LinkedIn.
Well, you knew that one. Yeah.
Perfect.
Do you know it is for high performing accounts?
Is it 250?
Close. It's 200. I have heard the number 250 somewhere, but I think that's part of this.
It's business. I think it's business pages. Once you crack the 1,000 mark, I think you can start inviting 250 people a month. Actually, it's not even a week. 250 people a month.
So maybe it's different for that then, because I've heard 250, but I couldn't find it on like LinkedIn's like help pages, like their documentation. Maybe I didn't look hard enough, but
yeah, business pages are a little different because personal they tap you out per week, and business pages is a month. So depending on the amount of followers you have on your page, the smaller pages we have, you can only send 100 personal invites a month. The larger pages have 250 that we have. So that I think 7,500 is the threshold mark where it bumps up then for you.
Okay.
But I know once you send that personal invite, if that person accepts, you get that one back, so you get another one back as long as someone invites it. But if you invite someone and they don't respond to it, and don't accept that invite, it will renew at the end of the month then, and you'll get a fresh 250 or whatever your limit is, to
Awesome.
invite people again. So cool.
Good.
One for one.
Good to know. Good to know. Yeah. So yeah, because we just talked about basic accounts and high performing accounts. So I thought that I didn't know this. This is interesting. So to be a high performing account, so it says users with a high social selling index (SSI) and good engagement history may send up to 200 invitations a week. So it's interesting because that doesn't sound like a paid thing for me. It doesn't sound like, oh, free LinkedIn versus paid LinkedIn. This is you have a free account, and if you are active in LinkedIn, like we've been saying, they let you send more invitations a week. Like, oh, this guy's serious. Yeah. So like, let's send him.
I think it's based off of like active and how active you are, but also like the amount of connections and followers you have as well too. Mm-hmm. So if you're only at 200 some connections, it's gonna definitely be on the lower end of that with the 100 per week. But if you're over 1,000 connections, you're probably bumped up to the next tier then. Yeah. I'm speaking as someone who's not at 1,000 yet. I'm close, but I'm not there.
I don't even know what I'm at. But I will eat my words just now because with the premium accounts, the paid account, it's the same as the high performance. It's 200 a week.
You can pay to play, but
pay to play,
or you can hit the grind and earn it the good old fashioned way with respect and honor.
Respect and honor and third party tools.
Exactly.
I'm at 350 ish. 366 is where I'm at. So I gotta get going on that too.
Get that legwork going.
Uh-huh. And then the other thing was event invitations. If you're an organizer, admin, or a participant, you can send up to 1,000 invitations per week for an event.
Dang, I didn't know that. That's pretty impressive. And I would do everything as an event on LinkedIn. Events that we've done as a company, we've done meet and connect, like social gathering. We've created that as a LinkedIn event. Webinars we've created as LinkedIn events on ours. And we could probably create podcast episodes as them and like premiere them through that. Like I would create everything as you possibly can as an event because it's something that stands out differently on LinkedIn. It's something that looks different that you're able to have almost use as a little subgroup in LinkedIn where you can have specific conversations about whatever the topic is of your webinar or your live event. So it's something different that pops up that looks different that you can invite people to create connections. Other people can share and invite people to those events too. So maybe it's a secret underutilized tool. So like if you're doing whatever event you're doing.
There might be some limitations on what you can do with events versus other things too as well. But yeah.
It's very true. I like doubling up. We've used again, not a sponsor yet, maybe they will be, but we've used Eventbrite for all of our events that's required any kind of registration for. And then we've also doubled that with creating a LinkedIn event as well. So the final goal wasn't just a LinkedIn events page, but like through that events page, then you're able to go to Eventbrite and register for whatever the event was and get the final little bit of information there. So you can also marry, again, third party, you can marry LinkedIn with a third party service as well to get the most out of it that maybe it doesn't do internally.
Okay. So 2 things to talk about the limits, LinkedIn limits. So like first thing, because what I've been saying is LinkedIn is trying to help us. Like, why does LinkedIn have these limitations? It prevents spam.
So you're not annoying.
Exactly. And that's the thing. It's not, they take that out of the equation. And it helps them with creating a space that doesn't become, even if there are people who don't care and will do that anyways, it takes it out of the equation. So like LinkedIn is now known as a place, it's a great networking place. It's a great quality networking place. Prevents the spam like we just talked about. And also the biggest thing here, big takeaway, is it helps you focus on your engagement. It focus on who you're connecting with. Like we've said, stay in your industry, find out who your ideal customer profile is and go after that person, because you only get 100 a week. Maybe 200 a week,
which is a lot. Like, I mean, if you're hitting your 100 connections a week, granted, that doesn't mean you're making that connection. You're at least sending that connection invite, 100 of those a week. And if you have even a 50% return rate and you're consistent with it, you could grow a pretty large audience pretty quick. So again, that goes back to being consistent. So even though there are limiting factors in there, if you're consistent and you're sending if you're only on LinkedIn 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, and that's 20 connection invites that you can send a day. I know that's way more than I do a day right now. So like that, even though it seems limiting, that's a pretty big number that you can use to grow your audience pretty quickly if you're consistent with it.
Yeah, if you're consistent and also careful, because we can start talking about the next thing that we're going to talk about is what happens if you hit those limits. So here's the other thing. One more question for you, Sal. Did you know that there's a max to how many connections you can have?
I didn't even know there was a max. I don't have an answer.
Any guess, ballpark?
It's got to be something ridiculous. It's over the 2,000 mark, because I've seen some people up there. Is it like 5,000?
Close. 30,000.
30,000. Oh,
30,000 is the max connections you can have, which is, I don't know why I was like, oh, that seems like reasonable. Because I don't know why I would think that someone would have 50 or 100,000 connections, but who knows?
Well, even 30, that's so many.
I guess I'm thinking about like celebrities and their followers. That's different from connections, though.
Yeah, because even LinkedIn does that, where you can have connections, but then you can also just follow. And because I think of some of the people that I've tried to connect to within our software channel ecosystem, some of them have big enough connection counts where it just tells me to follow them now. Not that they have 30,000, but it just starts pushing people to be a follower. And then after you follow them, it'd be like, hey, do you actually know this person? Why don't you connect?
It does that automatically. I can't remember where it was, but it says, after, if it notices. So here's the thing. So if it notices that you're being too active too quickly, or if you try and get like too many connections or something like that, it does these things like automatically. It'll set your page to follow automatically versus connect. It does little points there, but then it's not something that it'll send you a warning. It'll just if you go over one of these limits, it'll just cut you off for a week. There's no there's no warning. It's assuming that, hey, you didn't naturally make 200 connections this week. Something's helping you out. We're just going to cut you off just to teach you a lesson, I guess. But it's good incentive.
Because that's the concern with the third party. A third party tool and the automation that it can bring is you're trying to plaster way more than your limit per week. Personally, without the tools, I've only hit that limit once, maybe twice, and it was just I was really in a groove, just going and like, oh, I know this person. Boom, let me send connect. It gives you, granted, third-party tools can give you a way to like send a connection request with a message. But even then, like, you're still limited to the 100 a week. Even if you're not using a third-party tool, please use the message piece whenever you're trying to build connections. One, because it helps you stand out of the endless abyss hole of connections that people receive, especially if it's a bigger person in your channel or ecosystem. Like they're probably receiving a lot of connections from other people in that channel. That's probably the reason why you're trying to connect with them. So make sure you add a message, a note. I think it calls it a note. Add a note to the connection
Yeah.
request, because it will send it to them as a message then, as well as a notification for a connection request. So they get two notifications around that, or two ways that it notifies them. So adding a note helps your connection requests stand out a little bit different, and causes you to be a little creative then as well. So if you're sending 100 notes with your connection request, like you're putting a lot of time and effort in every week to do that. Because hopefully you're not just being like, hey, I can sell you this, or I can do this for you, instead of just wanting to engage like, hey, I met you at this place and I would love to just be able to stay connected and in touch, or like, hey, I saw that you do this. I would love to learn more about this because I do this. So like actually, again, being a human, having a relationship with someone, not just trying to sell and always be pitching to people, like providing value is a big thing.
Because if you don't do that, then, you know, people often will see bots or something like that, and they'll decline it, they'll report it as spam. And that's another way to get some of these restrictions, is if too many people ignore, decline, or report your invitation as spam, then you can also face a restriction. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's just another week of not being able to use LinkedIn, but that's how you get that. So yeah, just some notes to talk about LinkedIn. Very useful tips. It's that balance of making sure you're making those connections weekly, daily. Hit those limits, but not too hard. You want to be careful. You don't want to look like a robot. But you know, if you start slow and you work your way up, remember you're going to turn into someone who is the social selling index, a high performing account, which LinkedIn likes.
Yeah, and if LinkedIn's great at rewarding you if you're hitting the stuff that they like. If they mark you as one of these high performers, high sellers, you're able to get higher reach, and your posts are promoted a little bit heavier in the natural algorithms too. So I've definitely noticed that LinkedIn is more willing to give out benefits if you're hitting the things that they like and enjoy.
Yep. And yeah, so that's all I had to say about LinkedIn.
Cool.
The next thing that we want to jump into real quick is to kind of jump off of that. If you're being consistent with that, and you want to see how you're doing a little bit, something I didn't realize, it's pretty obvious because it's right in your profile, but LinkedIn has those built-in analytics. So this is the next tip here, is use those analytics. It'll help you show what you're posting, how much engagement it's getting, and what's working. And that's the next thing is use these analytics to see what works, what doesn't work, try different approaches, different content schemes,
make some use
the built-in
driven decisions. That's the word I'm looking for. Data-driven decisions.
Yeah.
Why that's so hard to say right now, I don't know. But that's analytics are huge, and there's even LinkedIn internal analytics are great. They're giving you the data that you need, and there's even third-party tools as well that gives even some more in-depth analytics, and that can even add into hey, this is for you the best time to post. This is the best time to do this. So there's some great third-party tools out there as well too that you can link to your page. But yeah, use those analytics to experiment, to try something new, see what's working, see what's not. I do that on a monthly basis right now, where it's like, hey, let me tackle what we've posted for this past month. What connected with our audience? What didn't connect? And if it connected, cool. How can I replicate that? Whether it's when can I reuse that post again, or what can I create similar to that to connect the same way? And then if it doesn't connect, it's just can it, or how can I adjust it then to maybe connect and hit differently with my audience. But
Yeah.
that goes back to episode 2, 4, or data driven decisions.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's all I had for today. Basically, to recap, we want to build out our connection strategies making sure that we're going beyond just the connection and joining groups and seeing what other people are looking at, utilizing third-party tools, and making sure that you're being consistent in your daily connection efforts, and then using the LinkedIn analytics, the built-in analytics. So, Sal, did you have anything else to say, or do you think we're good to sign off after almost an hour, actually?
Jeez, we're going. We've got a fair amount of banter we can cut out, though.
Yeah, we could.
I think maybe it's a good challenge. Like, after listening to this, maybe actually try to start building some of those connections. Maybe take 10, 15 minutes a day to send 5 connection requests with a custom note added to it. Like, start building up that audience. Or 200 if you're wanting to be an overachiever.
Can you do 215 minutes?
That would be impressive, and also probably get your account banned for a week. But but yeah, challenge yourself. Set a goal. It can be as simple as 5, as complex as like your 100 a week, and try to hit that goal. But take some time, actually put some effort into building out your connections on LinkedIn.
All right, cool. So let's sign off. That's the podcast we have here. Marketing Smarketing is a podcast. Marketing Smarketing is a product marketing leader production. All writing, editing, and engineering is done by me or Sal. And there are no sponsors today yet.
Not yet.
And again, if you guys are new to this, if you're just seeing this now, we plan on releasing episodes every other week. So be sure to look for the next episode